Another Gear Talk video from the gym where gains are made, guys. And today's video, tonight's video, it's 11:30 at night, is gonna be about what was my favorite steroid cycle versus what is my favorite steroid cycle. As time goes on, our opinions on things change and we get more experience, we get wiser, and it was always, not too long ago, always about test, tren, and mast, and clenbuterol, and then an oral like Anavar, some Winstrol, or both if you're doing a show. But really, I just want to stick to the three basics, or I should say the three bases. Okay, and the bases is an oil, all right? That's what we're putting in our system. That's what we're saturating the muscles with gear. That's what we're coating ourselves with. And for me, it was test, trend, and mass, the holy trinity, and not the blends, okay? If somebody comes to hire me, quick side note, and they want to run a blend, you hired me for customized protocol. I can't customize anything that's in a vial. That's a blend, 150 test, 50 mass, 75 trend, fuck off. No, customize your stack. For me, it was always like 350 test. I haven't done that in a while. Like I haven't gone to 350 in years, but it was 350 test, 300 to 350 trend, and then my mass run was a 600, and I would take it up to 700 eventually, and I would run mass pro. Things have changed, but I loved that cycle because I would get the density, the hardness, and also just the crazy aggression from the trend, and then I would get a really nice amplification of that from the Masteron, except the Masteron would draw out the water. I'm going to hold water on test, and I'm going to hold some water on trend. I don't care what anybody says, you will hold water on trend. And the Masteron would just pull that out, vacuum seal it, make your muscles even more dry and dense, and then the vascularity is going to really pop, even though it's already going to be there with the trend of the test. Especially when you're losing weight and you're getting leaner, right? So that was always my favorite cycle until like I was 27, right? My last time I ran a cycle. Last year, I was really concerned about like hair preservation. Was for a long time. When I did my hair transplants, as you can imagine, I was broke, I'm spending money into this thing, and then I didn't want to cycle anymore. And then I wanted to cycle, but I wanted to be careful about it. And then I started experimenting and I started learning that finasteride will work. Safeguards you if you self-medicate the dose towards even DHT derivatives. Now, how high can you take the DHT derivatives? I keep them low for that reason. I would like to run my Masteron at 600. It would be insanely sick, but what has worked for me, and if you care about your hair, I do 2 milligrams of finasteride during my blast, 1 milligram when I'm off. And what I've noticed is if the steroid is converted to DHT, it still hasn't attacked the scalp yet. And finasteride keeps it away from the scalp because I have not lost any hair. So, without further ado, my new favorite stack, Test Primo Mass. That's my favorite new trifecta. Now, you could throw in different fucking orals. You can make anything look really, really dope for the day with different orals, but I'm talking about like consistency, the longevity of the stack, how you're going to feel day in, day out, because the oils are what's really in your system, is Test Primo Mass. I like my test. I was doing at 200 for a while, but I really like my test at 250. I like my Primo at 3, and I like my Mass at 350. And that was what I ran the majority of this cycle. I just pulled Primo this past week because I was on it for about 3 months. I've been on Mass probably for 5 months. I probably should pull it pretty soon. And I'll get into that in another video of why I haven't pulled it yet. But real quick, there's really no opportune time for me yet. I'm making money on my physique, marketing the peptide brokerage. I gotta look a certain way. So the most important thing I can go do is my bloods right now, just to make sure cholesterol and my CBC panel and all that stuff is good. But back to the stack. The reason why this is my favorite trifecta, and it's not even close, is because the Primo is just more of a consistent vibe. Trend, I tolerate it really well. I'm a fun guy on trend. I still have good humor, all that stuff. But sometimes you get a little lethargic on it. Sometimes you don't feel like talking to people. Sometimes you're not always in the best mood. And you get used to it. At least I feel like people that aren't pussies get used to it. They don't complain about it. And you're just on trend, and it is what it is. When you go to the gym, it's fucking epic. But a lot of people, like, that bothers them, or like a little trendsomnia. I never cared about that. So when I'm not side effect free from it, I just don't mind the side effects. Best way to put it. But with Primo, I don't get any side effects. I get nothing. All I get with Primo is I feel good. I get nice dry gains. I'm gonna build my muscles in a very dry, aesthetically pleasing way. The only thing I've noticed when I'm on this stack versus the test, trend, and mass stack is like pussy's not on my mind 24/7. But when I need to perform, I perform, and if I see a hot chick, I want to go talk to her. I'm gonna at least stare at her ass. Like, it's not like it turns my libido off. It's just not on my mind like it would be with trend. Trend, I can go fuck a wall. You know, Primo, I'm gonna have to ease into it a little bit, but that's normal. I think a lot of people do gear and they're looking for like this raging libido all the time, or like I get clients on, I've been woken up with morning wood the past 3 days. Shut the fuck up. it'll come back, you're fine. Like, it's not a big deal if you haven't woken up with morning wood for a couple weeks. It's not like this end all be all, okay? Can you go get hard in the bathroom? Can you like get it up and like perform when you need to perform? Yeah, okay, then what's the problem? You don't always have to have morning wood. Now, if that's a continuing problem, or what I'm dealing with right now, I talked about in the vlog when I was in Greece, I can't really finish when I'm having sex. That has been an ongoing thing I've noticed the past month or two, and the reason why is just I've been on cycle for so long that I'm like desensitized a little bit, so I need some HCG, which I've ordered. So once I pull the Primo, which I already did, but once I pull the Master on, I'm just on some testosterone. I have to decide, do I do it the smart way where I just go on HCG with no test, which is how I preach it, or do I, is it more of a do what I say, not as I do, and run the HCG with my testosterone so I can continue to build size? I'm really after something these next 2 years. I'm really after something, and I want a 9-figure career, and I know my physique has to stay, pinnacle to get there. It's how my mind stays right. So I will come to that decision of like what I need to do, and I'll be transparent and tell you like what I'm doing, but that's what I'm after right now. And it's not that I don't see myself doing tren again, I don't see a place for it. It just, I don't need the muscle gains from it, but maybe, 75 milligrams sounds enticing a week, something really light. I can tell you right now, guys, the smoothness that is from the Primo, and then just reinforcing that with the dry to scale, the dry vascularity, the hardness of the Master on, it's just such a fucking aesthetically pleasing physique, man. It's the best I've ever looked. Obviously, retatrutide's gotta be in this. I will take that year round. I made up my mind on that, but if you're not trying to shred, I'd still say test Primo and Mass. I would just up the doses. If you're really sensitive to Primo and it doesn't work out for you because you can't tolerate doses that I can do, or you're just like one of the, you're one of the 10%, the 15% that just like gets their estrogen dinged up, I understand. Maybe it's not the cycle for you. You can try DHB, testosterone, you can do the 10 trend, the test trend Mass, of course, but you can't always run trend. So that's my new favorite trifecta. Now, I'm gonna give you my favorite 1-2 punch back then in terms of orals, and now my new favorite 1-2 punch right now. And maybe I shouldn't say orals, because one of them is injectable anadrol, so I would say just pre-workout, that pre-workout boost. So, and when I say not too long ago, I literally mean like last year. My favorite thing was doing T-ball and halo testing. T-ball and halo testing, both in the testosterone family. That was like pinnacle for me. I was like, oh, this is the best 1-2 thing I've ever done in my life. Like the T-ball is a really good endurance. The halo is the same thing. It's just batten down the hedging even more, and you're just like doubling down, tripling down, I should say, on what the T-ball is. You're getting more aggression. You're getting good strength from it. All that jazz. This time around, and it's funny because I love super draw, but if I had to pick two, because I did all three and it was insane, super draw, halo, and injectable anadrol, but if I had to pick two out of that, because I've done the super draw and the injectable anadrol, I've done the super draw and the halo, excuse me, I've done the anadrol and the halo, it's going to be injectable anadrol, 25 mg and 10 milligrams of halo testing is amazing, fucking crazy. The size, and then just like not wanting to leave the gym. Not wanting to leave the gym, I haven't felt that in a while. Like after an hour, I'm ready to go. I'll push through for another 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll leave. Retatrutide's made me a little lazier, I'm not gonna lie. But with the halo testing, I feel like I'm at Disneyland. With the anadrol, fucking sick. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's a great 1-2 punch with the injectable anadrol and the super draw, but there's something about the halo just increasing that energy and just wanting to fucking push. It's just different. It's just different. So that is putting it all together, my favorite cycle. If I had to give you 5 compounds, ending the video on this, we crush these videos. I go like off the dome for like fucking 15, 20 minutes, no edits. Test, Primo, Master on injectable anadrol, halo testing. Retatrutide, of course.
That's it.
Yeah.